Word up, chum buckets. My name is Couch Coop. We are going to be looking at Mad Max from 2015 over on the PC. Running everything on high, but still at 1080. Apologies, but I felt this could have gone to 2K or 4K and still kept that spec. The game is 10 years old. Why am I looking at this game again after already covering it on the PlayStation 5? We do have some better visuals and frame rates. I could actually run this at 75 frames per second, but for argument's sake, uploaded it at 60. Talking of chum bucket, he made an appearance in the film very briefly in the new one, the Furiosa. Didn't even spot that, and I'm a huge fan of this game. Let's talk about why it's so good and how it still holds up incredibly well today.
To stand a chance, she'll need nitrous.
There is some dodginess on the cutscenes with textures and character models. That's definitely a place where it shows its age, but it's still nice to see this ramped up to the maximum, see all the characters and lighting looking awesome.
Why, it'll mean the end of you, me, and the magnum opus.
All right, let's do it.
This is essentially an open world game from Avalanche. They're the people that produced the Just Cause series. They also had a hand in Rage 2. You may have watched that review. I didn't shout them out at all. I feel terrible about it. So I think they deserve a big fuss made about them in this video. Now, as part of my research, I fired up Just Cause 3 over on the PlayStation 5. Obviously, nothing boosted, nothing changed, but I was very stunned at how it looks against this exactly the same year. I know I'm running this on a PC with some slightly more modern effects, but the difference in the two games is gargantuan, and I was not expecting that. It points to them really pumping loads of effort into this.
Oh, my angel, that was close. Be more careful next time, I beg of you.
What also needs to get a mention, I feel, is that this is a film license video game. Now, if you know the industry, you'll know that that is a curse, a massive shadow. There are a few exceptions to the rule, Batman Arkham, and of course Alien Isolation. Fury Road came out the same year, 2015, and as a sort of representation of that canon of Mad Max lore, this game fails nowhere. We also have a gruff Aussie male doing the voice. Now that's amazing. Nothing against the newer films. Tom Hardy basically says nothing.
That's bait.
So I feel it's a return to form for the series. Let's talk about this world or map briefly. It has a rotatory day and night system. Some of the sunsets are unbelievable, amazing pink skies, and you've also got an almost extraterrestrial like rock formations lying around, beautiful golden sands that sit against the turquoise, with the metal of the car being the division of that landscape. It all looks really good and well thought out. You've also got an amazingly dynamic camera which swings around, zooms in and out, gives you the support of speed that you need in a game like this. Top tip, and did not realise this when I first went to it on the PlayStation 4 all those years back, but tapping up will get Chumbucket to repair the vehicle with you in it. I thought that could only be done if you're out and about, which is a difficulty because there may be other people or cars in the vicinity. You can also get an in-car view by double tapping down on the directional button. That one also completely went past me. It does feel a little bit stifling against that external car view. I'm always a fan of the external car view, but it's cool to have it there. It's also cool to have switch out bumper trophies and bonnet stuff lying around everywhere. I think there's a homunculus helmet coming up. I will keep you posted, but have a look at some of these angles as I pull away. Beautiful stuff. Staying on that sound angle briefly, the game actually doesn't have any in-game music as you're heading around that map. It very much focuses on the engine noise, and they switch that out depending on what car you're driving. We'll get into that in a second. But I was quite knocked back at how unbored I was getting with driving around the open world without any small music introductions as you go into a new area, that sort of stuff. Combat, it starts injecting it in here and there, but it's quite clever how it keeps all of of that to a minimum. I think a focus on engine noise was an intention. We are looking at the air balloon system here. This is a little bit baffling for me. In order to fast travel to one of these, you have to get them elevated into the air. Sometimes they don't have any fuel, sometimes they're locked behind a damn gate that requires an explosion. There's no such thing as a free lunch with them. And they act as the towers do kind of in Zelda, where you can spot things, they then appear permanently on your map. It's a good idea to sort of work out what's in the area.
Oh, here it comes! A mighty duster!
Let's talk about the car combat basics, because it is smash and bash. You do have a slide left and right button when you're going forward to hit the other cars that are either next to you or pursuing you. But the first massive attraction is essentially a harpoon gun that can extract drivers straight out of their cars. It's totally amazing. It makes you think of Just Cause and that crazy winch thing. Higher tier cars require more peeling of the doors, the bonnets, the wheels to be able to get to the driver, and you also upgrade that harpoon so it can pluck the war boys straight out through the windscreen. It is ridiculously satisfying.
We must pass the gauntlet of flames, lest we be crisped up!
The game also has a pretty in-depth convoy system. You'll see on the map a bit of checkered road, and they have a route that you discover. If you played Rage 2, you'll know that it was from id and Avalanche, and they did include an almost identical system. That was 2019, so it's cool that they fired that out again. They seriously rammed it up for Rage 2. I very much recommend you look at that game. If you haven't done already, link, annotate, all of it. You do have a shotgun that can be fired from the car, but I've trained myself never really to use the damn thing because it's super handy in close quarters combat. Let's talk about that. When you're first introduced to it, you're like, oh god, it's a one button basher, there's no depth to this whatsoever. But it's actually very clever on how it works with the combo system, how you access this fury mode which gives you huge OP punches, and using various shivs and shotgun shells and prioritizing and also picking up melee weapons. It sort of rescues itself, and of course it's leaning on that Batman Arkham Asylum muscle memory, which is all locked away and intact and comes out rip-roaring when needed. There are also elevated war criers who have a drum that sit above the battlefield, and you do not want them to go red and get that buff. It takes ages and you will lose a lot of health. We'll get to health replenish in a second, but it's so cool prioritizing blowing them up or leaving them to the end and hearing them squirm.
I'm just a little drummer boy.
There is also a power-up system and a point spending area. If you go to a guy called Grifter, that's not his actual name, you get to spend these points on this rotary looking RPG-esque level up graph. Now, I'm never told to go and see this guy. They just say he's in the area. You don't really notice how many points you're accumulating or haven't spent, and I was guilty when I first played this on PS4 to barely going anywhere near him and realizing I've got like 50 points to spend. So that one needs to be noticed, and it's pretty cool how you can sort of tailor your Mad Max build, but it's not as pliable as other systems, but it's nice to have it there. My name is Couch Coop, by the way, and I make videos like this all the time. I have a huge single player playlist, which I'll put in the description. Please like, please sub. This year's looking pretty tough for a lot of smaller content creators. Let's talk about the bases or the camps, because I think that could be one of my more favorited areas. With all of this arsenal you're given, they put big standalone pylon-like mortar weapons, snipers that need plucking straight off their balconies. Then you rip the front door down and go in and kick everyone's ass. It's pretty awesome, and they do mix it up a bit. One thing I will say about the game, there isn't enough bosses in it. I want more of them and unique enemies. You get some, a handful, but one in every single camp would be amazing. It also has an idea about collecting vehicles full stop. You are not obligated to drive around in the magnum opus the entire time. You can gather vehicles, take them back to your base. Now this is like a whole piece of meta in itself, because I loved the variety of the enemy vehicles, even the spiked buzzard stuff, and when you watch Fury Road you'll see how excellently they implemented that clan into this game. But remember, you don't have chum bucket, so you don't have access to all of that cool stuff, but some of the guest cars, particularly the ones you earn through the campaign and side missions, will have some cool added stuff or NOS already bolted onto them. I am quite aware that I have been gushing about this game for the last 12 minutes straight. The area that it falls down on, and it's no fault of the game, I just think it was a sign of the times, is holding down the damn button to pick things up, to refill things. Everything takes ages. Now when you lose your health, you have to go and fill your flask and then fill your health bar. It's a 2-stage system, and the sheer headache of doing that puts the fear of God in you to not lose any health. That is a major incentive. It also, because this is my third visit to the game, feels like it's got this huge grind lull in the middle. To upgrade that car, to get it looking cool, to get it looking like all of the stuff on the advertisement or front cover, you've got 15 hours minimum to get this thing up to spec. And that brings me on to the campaign and its structure and its main missions. It actually does really try to throw different environments and problems at you within that car mechanics. You'll go into tunnels, you'll be forced into really tense chase scenes underground. I love the idea that they rotate that around enough to make you feel like you've got some variety there. I made it out of this tunnel by the skin of my radioactive teeth, and the tension was amazing. The death race system is also worth a mention. So dotted around the map, you've got these symbols, you go and enroll and you win the car that you're given as a guest vehicle. Now you have to go through checkpoints. I'm a little bit simple, as you all know. I thought you had to avoid the exploding barrels on the checkpoints, not trigger them, thus not having any damage done. And if you're at the front, then you have to break the barrier and then end up losing a place. I thought that might be a better system. No one asked you, Coop. Looking at driving, discovering, learning the nuances of some of the guest vehicles or the prize vehicles that you get is a really massive part of this game, and I was so impressed that they didn't just stick to the one car. Before putting this video together, I kind of promised myself that I would open that roster to its maximum, try and get everything, but there is a huge amount of backwork involved in that. Some of it's chance, because the vehicles that you come across are free roaming in that map, so the longevity is strong with this one. There's a huge bit of backlog to be explored there. Let's talk about that story briefly, because there is some there. There's relics everywhere. The game opens with an actual IRL piece of video footage of your family, how life was. You find these postcards, you flip them over, they've got messages on them, and it doesn't shove it all down your throat. Every cutscene is skippable. That is a bit of a godsend if you're visiting this game for the third time. I also completely forgot to mention, because I didn't come across them as much as I did over on the PS4 and 5, but there's killer dust storms everywhere around the map that will just completely total your car, and they've also got loot inside of them, so there's like a risk reward going on there. They are super intense and really well done, and you also might notice that some of my footage has not got any of the user interface on it. The photo mode allows you to switch in very quickly. It's got a seriously deep photo mode, which I think involves a second pad for slow-mo and angle change. I didn't even get that far into it, and I never thought I'd say that about a photo mode in a Mad Max game. It can also go super wrong for you if you turn up at a base without the right equipment. It's a bit higher level, they are all ranked. The defences will just make a doner kebab out of you despite you trying to drag it all down to the ground. This was very cool to see a big stopper on bases that I needed to upgrade to penetrate.
The angel's corpus is burning and bleeding. Action explode!
Higher ranked bases also come with higher ranked fighters, so if you walk in there without any energy, you are going to get mincemeated, and you can't be drinking that damn flask halfway through a fight, so you just have to prep, and that's quite a cool angle. But you can't go in there with a massive weapon, but you can make sure you've got enough ammo and shivs to deal with these mothers. I wouldn't say this is the best 8th generation film license game on the market, but it's certainly damn close. And it is certainly one of the best looking PlayStation 4 games available, full stop. Playing it in 2025 is both fascinating and a huge worry. You've heard me talk about this craftsmanship angle before. This sort of stuff is not done today. Assets are not taking this much time over, and things aren't thought about within a base, within an open map like this. These things are absolutely huge. That also goes for the unique bosses that are in them that also stick to the Mad Max lore.
You're just a friggity man! You're just dead meat! A deadly spectacle is now! I face you!
The map is also still throwing out a few surprises. Over on the far left of it, you've got this strange sulfur-like structures, which I think are flammable because I've seen some of the enemy cars go flying into them and blow up. Homunculus helmet on the bonnet there, just clocked it. And here is your reward for getting to the end of the video. The Opus with the chrome chassis, damned it looks good. Getting all that HUD off, caning around the deserts and the dunes in that beautiful sunshine, daylight, stunning stuff. I do also need to warn you about the end of the game. Now, if you're up for looking at it, I would prepare yourself, because it very much sticks to the apocalyptic, nothing can ever be fixed, Mad Max is the ultimate alpha going off into the sunset vibe. Just read as much into that as you want. And I think if they sequeled this on 9th gen, made it bigger, better looking, more cars, more enemies, it would sell like hotcakes. My name was, of course, CouchCube. Thank you for the time, and as mentioned before, drop me a sub, drop me a like. I think everybody's having a tough time on this platform at the moment, apart from Asman Gold. I will see you down there.